Good morning, and welcome to this Sunday service where we are live streaming with safe social distancing from the sanctuary of the Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship here in Durham, North Carolina. Welcome. I'm Reverend Deborah Cayer, and whoever you are, wherever you come from, wherever you are this morning, whatever your race, your gender, whomever you love, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, welcome. We're so glad you're joining us. If you're new to this community, and especially if you're visiting today, I invite you to introduce yourself by putting your name into the chat box. There will be a warm welcome for you there, and also there's a link that will help you find out more about us if you'd like more information. I want to remind everyone that all of our programs are online right now, and they are all listed in a couple of places. One is in our e-news, which comes right to you, to your email every Friday. Check your promotions folder if you haven't been seeing that. Check your spam if you haven't been seeing it, because there is so much information in there. I don't want you to miss it. So many good things are going on. And boy, do we need good things right now, right? Right. If you are also looking, you can find information on our programs on our website. You can check on the events calendar, you can check on the pages for different ministries. The information is all there. So lots of ways to get connected and get involved if you're looking for that. Today, our children and their families will be baking cookies at home, and they'll be wrapping warm things, socks and hats and mittens, for our neighbors at Urban Ministries. So here's something fun. Anyone can join them. If you want to bake some cookies for Urban Ministries today, you can do that. If you'll be doing that, you can bring those wrapped baked goods here to the campus anytime between, after the service and 7 p.m. There will be someone at the care building who can help you find a place to put those. They'll be masked, there will be social distancing, but you can drop off your baked goods or warm gifts at the care building anytime today, till 7. Speaking of Urban Ministries, I want to let everyone know that our special collection every Sunday in November was super successful. We are so happy. Together, ERUUF members and friends donated more than $14,000 for meals for our neighbors and our friends at Urban Ministries. That's going to take care of our commitment to them through the end of the year and beyond. Awesome. This is just more great news in the midst of a time when we could really use good news. Thank you for your participation and your support. So finally this morning, after this service, everyone is invited to a virtual coffee hour. Information on how to get to this will appear on your screen and in the chat box near the end of the service. And you can also access it right from ERUUF's homepage on the bottom of the page at that time. The link isn't there yet for safety reasons, security reasons, but it'll be there when the time comes. Today's worship team includes myself and Henry Amador-Batten, who's our worship associate, and Reverend Stacy Grove, who is participating in this morning's service. Paul Baerman joins Kate Lewis this morning to offer this morning's music. Paul is playing oboe and saxophone. Claudia Kaplan and Pam DiLavore are our cantors today, and you can sing along with them at home. The words will be on the screen. The tech team for today's service includes Jenny Jolly, Sean Trimble, and Scott Gaskins has the soundboard. Whew, that's a lot, and it's all good. So I invite us all now to center ourselves and to take a deep breath in. Oh, because we can, and that's such a good thing. And let it out. And we continue this morning's service with the prelude. Our opening words this morning are by Laura Horton Ludwig. She writes, "The wheel of the year has turned again. Thanksgiving season has arrived. How shall we sing our song of gratitude now? For what shall we give thanks?"
For this moment, for friends both near and far, for our breath, for love, for courage and clarity, for strength, for delight, for laughter, for beauty.
For the tables round which we gather, for the food we enjoy with friends, seasoned with love and memory, for the sun and moon and stars in the sky, for the trees who have seen so much and still stand proud, still stretch themselves to the sky.
For the bright voices of children, for the wisdom of elders, for actions that bless the world, for hard work that makes a difference, for music and art and celebration, for generosity, for compassion, for endurance, for joy, for hope.
For all this abundance, we give thanks.
Advent. Adventus means waiting. And the holiday season is nothing if not waiting. To get it done, the chores, to find the right gift, to find time for quiet moments, to accept that our loved ones will not be as we wish them to be. We light the chalice this holiday season. This time of waiting to remind ourselves to enjoy the moment, the now of our lives. This is the second Sunday of Advent, and Hanukkah begins later this week. This holiday season, may the darkness of winter be dispelled in the festival of lights. And may the darkness of ignorance be dispelled in the strength of compassion, reason, and sharing. Our first hymn this morning is O Come, Emmanuel, and I invite you to sing along with Claudia Kaplan.
Greed and war at last shall see the whole. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come within as light to dwell. Oh, come, you wisdom from on high, from depths that hide within our sight, to temper knowledge with our care, to render every act a prayer. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come within as hope to dwell.
That's a traditional Advent song, and it just helps remind us of the season that we're in, that beautiful call for wisdom to come and dwell with us for guidance so that we can find our way forward. So we're transitioning right now from a season of gratitude into a season of the winter holidays. We're celebrating the rebirth of faith and hope and love and peace and joy, a possibility for us all. So this morning, before we quite move into that season, this morning we're going to reflect on gratitude, and we're going to think about how that can help us find our way, even, maybe especially, when times are as challenging as they have been recently. We have a reading this morning. Henry has it for us. It's Gate A4, Naomi Shihab Nye.
Wandering around the Albuquerque airport terminal, after learning my flight had been delayed for hours, I heard an announcement. If anyone in the vicinity of Gate A4 understands any Arabic, please come to the gate immediately. Well, one pauses these days. Gate A4 was my own gate. I went there. An older woman in full Palestinian traditional embroidered dress, just like my grandmother used to wear, was crumpled to the floor wailing. "Help," said the flight attendant, said the flight agent. "Talk to her. What is the problem?" We told her the flight was going to be late, and she did this. I stooped to put my arm around the woman, and I spoke haltingly. "Shudawa, Shubidak Habiti, Stani Shwe, Mini Fadlik, Shubit Siwi." The minute she heard any words she knew, however poorly used, she stopped crying. She thought the flight had been canceled entirely. She needed to be in El Paso for a major medical treatment the next day. I said, "No, we're fine. You'll get there, just late. Who's picking you up? Let's call him." We called her son. I spoke to him in English. I told him I would stay with his mother till we got on the plane. She talked to him. Then we called her other sons, just for the fun of it. Then we called my dad, and he and she spoke for a while in Arabic and found out, of course, they had 10 shared friends. Then I thought, just for the heck of it, why not call some Palestinian poets I know and let them chat with her? This all took up 2 hours. She was laughing a lot by then, telling me about her life, patting my knee, answering questions. She had pulled a sack of homemade mamul cookies, these light powdered sugar crumbly mounds stuffed with dates and nuts, out of her bag, and was offering them to all the women at the gate. To my amazement, not a single traveler declined one. It was like a sacrament. the traveler from Argentina, the mom from California, the lovely woman from Laredo. We were all covered with the same powdered sugar and smiling. There is no better cookie. Then the airline broke out free apple juice, and two little girls from our flight ran around serving it, and they too were covered with powdered sugar. And I noticed my new best friend, by now we were holding hands, had a potted plant poking out of her bag. Some medicinal thing with green furry leaves. An old country traveling tradition, always carry a plant, always stay rooted to somewhere. And I looked around that gate of late and weary ones, and I thought, this is the world I want to live in, the shared world. Not a single person at that gate, once the crying of confusion had stopped, seemed apprehensive about any other person. They took the cookies. I wanted to hug all those other women too. This can still happen anywhere. Not everything is lost.
Please join me in the spirit of meditation and prayer, allowing your eyes to soften as you focus on your breath, breathing in the breath of life and allowing it to release slowly and comfortably in your own rhythm. And let us be still for a moment. For this one moment, know only that you are loved, that you are safe and whole and loved. Know that you belong here, here upon this earth, here among us. However tired or broken your heart may be, whatever fear, disappointment, sadness, or anger you may carry, for this hour, know that you are not alone. Feel the presence of others that are gathered, albeit virtually this morning, in this sacred space of beloved community. We hold in our hearts this day all who are weary in mind, body, and spirit, who are living in fear or anxiety and uncertainty, grieving losses, experiencing illness. For those we hold privately in our hearts, we ask for healing and for wholeness. O source of love and wisdom, source of life, great mystery, help us to see the overflowing abundance that is in our lives, the abundance of all creation in which we live and are interdependent. Help us to see the abundance of love, generosity, and meaning overflowing in our lives. Help us to transcend our limited scarcity thinking about gender, ability, nationality, culture, and race. To see that there are myriad abundant ways of being, and that they are beautiful in their spectacular array. Help us to see that there is enough for ourselves and for all people, and to live into that truth. May our blessings be multiplied through our sharing them. May it be so. Amen. Ashe.
Well, that was gorgeous. Thank you. It's such a treat to have Paul Baerman here this morning. So, everybody at home, how was your Thanksgiving? Were you outside with a group that shared a big meal? Or were you by yourself with some kind of special takeout? No matter how you spent the holiday, before Thanksgiving, I kept hearing over and over how much people were missing family and friends and in-person hugs and being together, being able to be together without fear of being sick, becoming sick. This year, we are all feeling a whole lot of things, including sadness and frustration and despair and hopelessness and fear. And so most of us have also been wondering just what it is that we could genuinely be thankful for now at the end of 2020. There is probably nothing more counterproductive to feeling truly grateful than to be told that you should be grateful, especially if you're stressed or suffering, and especially if you're feeling any kind of uncertainty about the future. So I am definitely not here to do that this morning. However, what's surprising is that when times are as difficult as they are right now, that's exactly often when we're able to find our own natural gratitude. And I wouldn't want any of us to miss that. So here we go. Nathan Green, a psychologist who studied the interplay between grief and gratitude, points out that of course gratitude naturally arises when something especially good happens in our lives, when we get the job that we wanted, when a new child joins our family. And despite what we're told by advertisers, it turns out that we actually don't feel especially grateful or even very happy after we get all of the perks that we've been told to expect come with success. But, Green says, what's surprising is that the research clearly shows that we often do feel gratitude after a big loss, or when we're in some kind of real need, and even after the death of a loved one. Strange, isn't it? What's going on with all this? It might help to consider some of the wisdom that people have gathered over the ages about gratitude. And Stacy and Henry are going to share some of that with us right now.
Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, it is the parent of all other virtues. Cicero.
We think we have to do something, or something has to be done in order for us to be grateful, when actually gratitude is a state of being. Ianla van Zandt.
Happiness cannot be traveled to, owned, earned, worn, or consumed. Happiness is a spiritual experience of living every moment with love, grace, and gratitude. Dennis Waitley.
Gratitude turns what we have into enough. Aesop.
It's not the load that breaks you down. It's the way you carry it. Carry it by the comfortable handles of gratitude for what's positive, and that it's not worse, rather than the uncomfortable edges of bitterness for the negatives, and that it's not better. Lena Horne.
Give thanks for a little, and you find a lot. A Hansa proverb.
At some point in life, the world's beauty becomes enough. You don't need to photograph, paint, or even remember it. The beauty is enough. Toni Morrison.
Acknowledging all the good that you already have in your life is the foundation for all abundance. Eckhart Tolle.
These authors and educators that we just heard quoted from are saying exactly what religious leaders and scholars all tell us. Gratitude is a state of mind and a way of life. A sense of gratitude brings us the sense of having enough. And when we experience enough, even just a tiny little bit more beyond enough creates a sense of abundance. And when we're living in abundance, it's easier to look around and look for possibilities and feel hopeful. As it turns out, this very simple but deeply fundamental experience is what actually makes us feel happy. And it brings us around then to renewed gratitude. And so the secret known by wise ones everywhere is, of every place and time, is that we're not grateful because we're happy. We're actually happy because we're grateful. And that helps make some sense out of how this happens, or can possibly happen, in a difficult time. We find true happiness because we're grateful. In an instant, we're able to go from wailing on the floor at gate A4 in despair to hosting a grand salon and even something more, an impromptu, joyful celebration where cookies turn into something like communion. This kind of happiness, this kind of true joy is a good thing. And it turns out that when we're on this path, especially when life is difficult to the point of being impossible, this is when beloved connection is also possible. When we practice gratitude, it can help us discover a sense of deep inner connection with other people, with the natural world, with the universe, with the sacred. Gratitude can lead to all of these type of experiences. This is sometimes what people mean when they talk about having a blessed experience, or they speak of being blessed. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel said, "All real living is meeting." I love that. All real living is meeting. Moments when the curtain of daily life is pulled back and we're able to just be present and be there with someone or something else, just as it truly is. And we're able in that moment to just feel the fullness of that experience. And there's a sense of experiencing something more. When we have that, which some of us recognize as a spiritual experience, in these moments, life is richer, more resonant. It's somehow more real, really real. We forget ourselves. We're just simply present. We just simply are. And for this brief time, we're human beings, not human doers on autopilot or human strivers. We're just human beings together. Rachel Naomi Remen is a physician who's lived with Crohn's disease for most of her life, and she's endured many painful, difficult surgeries over the course of dozens of years. As a child, Remen was very close to her grandfather, who was a rabbi, and they talked of many things, including spirituality. Remen says her grandfather gave her many blessings, and she later learned more about blessings, both through the medical care that she received as a patient and the care that she offered her own patients as a physician. What she learned, though, is that blessings don't involve any kind of substance, no kind of transaction. They're not tangible things. Remen says, a blessing that is not something that one person gives another. A blessing is a moment of meeting, a certain kind of relationship in which both people involved remember and acknowledge their true nature and worth, and strengthen what is whole in one another. By making a place for wholeness within our relationships, we offer others the opportunity to be whole without shame and become a place of refuge for everything in them that is not genuine. We enable people to remember who they are. Rachel Naomi Remen. All real living is meeting. All real living can only happen in the present moment. That's the moment of blessing. This moment of simply being. This moment of simply being there with each other and for each other. Gratitude can help us find our way into this reality, because gratitude actually begins with simply paying attention. We just notice what really is and what's right there. Gratitude is part of a grouping of practices and experiences that often help us move through attention, wonder, awe, a sense of reverence, a sense of humility, our own finiteness, our own smallness in the light of all of this, and then overwhelmingly a sense of gratitude, and then a deep sense of interconnection, and then generosity and the urge to serve others. It's something that kind of flows and keeps moving all the time. So when we're paying attention, we find that we can't just take in all of this experience. We can't just accumulate all of this good stuff within ourselves. It has to keep moving. So we breathe in gratitude and awe and wonder, and we exhale. We exhale love, and we exhale service. So gratitude, people sometimes are afraid that gratitude is going to make them self-centered and it's going to make them closed off from others, but that's just not how it works. Gratitude helps us be centered, but then it fills us up so that we get right back into the middle of a vitally engaging life where we interact and where we actually serve. And that's a good thing, because our service and our interaction selflessly, that's where the joy comes from. It comes from someplace into our lives because of how we show up, ready to give. A simple practice of noticing good things and saying thank you can help us start on this path. We can actually, though, begin to practice gratitude by saying thank you for everything, whatever comes our way, both the happy experiences with other people and animals and memories, art, dreams, nature, ideas, and also the challenging ones. Even if you don't know who or what you're saying thank you to, just the act of saying thank you can make a huge difference. And if you do have a relationship with a sacred source, love, goodness, the really real, God, the universe, this practice can bring you into closer relationship with that source. But can this even be true in a year like 2020 with COVID-19 and the exposure of deep, systemic, lethal racial injustice, and the threats to our democracy and deep political divisions, and now the terrible threats to our economy and people's ability to feed and shelter their families? How do we even begin to find something to be grateful for amid all of this? Isn't doing that sort of a distraction? Diana Butler Bass is a scholar who writes about American religion, and in 2017 she was writing a book about gratitude. And she admits that being in the United States after the last election in 2016 made writing a book about gratitude very challenging for her. But she says that she started to realize that, quote, gratitude is not a psychological or political panacea that denies pain or overlooks injustice. These things are all very real. They don't go away. Gratitude, however, invalidates the false narratives that these things are the sum total of human existence, that despair is the last word. Gratitude gives us a new story. Diana Butler Bass. I love that. Gratitude reminds us that negativity is not the only story, and it's not the final word. There's more to be said, and we can say it. Some of the people that I admire most are people who've gone down into deep adversity, but rather than being destroyed in that crucible, instead have found a new story, one that certainly contains a seed, a spark of what is eternal and indestructible. Whatever the process, whatever the personal cost, they've emerged with their own true sense of worth and dignity, a fierce self-love deeply rooted in an ultimate source of love and justice. This is where they discover their birthright as a human being with worth and dignity, where they receive the sacred knowledge that they're one among equals as equal part of a living, interconnected whole. They're part of the universe. as are we all, every moment. But we forget. Or we were never told this truth. Or we were never shown a pathway that we could take to find it. So here's the good news. One good way to tap into all of this is through gratitude. And there are some very simple ways that we can practice. One of them is at the end of the day, or at the beginning of the day, or throughout your day. At some point in your day, write down 3 things for which you're grateful and reflect on them. What do those 3 things tell you about who and what you value? What did you notice? What's there in the world to support you? Another good thing to do is simply to say thank you. Say thank you to God, to the earth, to the universe. Say thank you to anything that's larger than yourself that holds and supports life. Say thank you every time you notice something good in your life. Do this especially after writing down those 3 things for which you're grateful. Here's another easy, simple thing. Before a meal, say thank you for the gifts of the earth, for all who had some part in bringing the meal to your table, from the cook to the store clerks, the truck drivers, the warehouse workers, the farmers, the seed scientists, the ancestors who taught us how to farm, how to grow food. Give thanks for all of these interconnections across space, across time, that support you. The stress of daily life can cover over these vital interconnections, but a gratitude practice uncovers them, gives them back to us, helps us feel their support, helps us feel our own connection. Christy Nelson, writer and spiritual researcher, says, when we embrace gratefulness, we're reminded that time is limited and experiences are fleeting, so we had better treasure deeply what we have now and live more fully into what we know really matters. Gratitude can help us find what's ultimate. Christy Nelson. We know this is true. Life is sometimes way too short and often way too hard. Gratitude helps us focus on the here and now so that we don't miss our real life. So we can experience some genuine happiness, even joy, while we're alive, even in the middle of a mess. Gratitude can help us focus on justice and love, even especially amid threats and chaos. Gratitude can help us find a new story so that our communities truly can become beloved communities. And as if all of this were not more than enough, gratitude also helps us notice vitally important moments of true meaning that fill our lives with sacred meaning, with each other, with the earth, with something greater than ourselves. So this morning, I'm grateful. Are you grateful? We are grateful. We are grateful for what is and for what is not worse. We are grateful for our lives, our families, our friends, and love. We are grateful for beauty and goodness and truth. We are grateful for freedom and dignity and joy. And may our practice of gratitude help us be here for all of this so that we don't miss it and we don't miss each other. So that we don't miss out on helping to create the more just, the more beautiful world that we believe is possible. May it be so, friends. May it be so. Ashe. Amen. Blessed be. So this is the time in our service when coming out of gratitude, we might pause to consider how we feel called to give of ourselves to help create a larger story, a new story that we are all in together. What story are we going to help weave into reality? Unitarian Universalists are committed to add something of ourself, our love, our care, our support to the interdependent, interconnected web of life, and to the human worth and dignity of every person. That's just a given. It's just a birthright. So we look for ways to give of our time, our talent, and our treasure. We're looking even during this time when we're staying at home. We're so grateful that so many things are happening through ERUUF. Our justice groups and our programs are all offering so many amazing, wonderful things. You can take a look at our website. You can see what's going on. You can find ways to get involved. So we're going to contemplate this now, and you can take action by making a contribution through our website or through your own preferred way to give. Our offertory will give you time to do that now. We give thanks for all these things that help us to weave the fabric of beloved community, especially the gift of music. Thank you. This morning's final song is Blessing by Donna Hebert. Claudia Kaplan will bring it to us now. I think Pam DiLavore will bring it to us now. Pam will bring it to us. And you can follow along. The words will be on your screen.
Shine on you, warm your heart and
That is one of my absolute favorite hymns, Blessing by Donna Hebert. Our closing words this morning are by Susan Carlson. They're slightly adapted. We prepare to leave our time together this morning, blessed by our connections to one another and blessed by the Spirit of life and the Spirit of love. Travel lightly that you might see the life that is below you. Spread your arms as if you had wings and could dance through the air. Feel the joy of the breath in your lungs and the fire that is in your heart. Live to love, live to be a blessing on this earth. Go in love, go in faith, go in peace, go in joy. Go be a blessing, friends. Go be a blessing.